And good afternoon, everybody. It's 1 o'clock on Thursday. Holy crap, it's already Thursday. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me today is, one of the most, seriously, I put this in the little promo thing, one of the most naturally funny people that I think I've ever met in my life. I'll say this. He was a high school kid going to open mics, and his dad was driving him around when I met him, and he's gone from that to being in national commercial campaigns. And gosh, it's just such a pleasure to have you with me, Mike Lester.
Wow, it's so much pressure. I don't think I've ever gotten a more like what an intro.
Well, it's something,
I'm flabbergasted. Like, naturally funny. It's like, now I'm just gonna have to zing your ass. Like,
no, you can do whatever you want, man. You can do whatever you want. I know. I honest to God, I know you're such a favorite to so many people. I mean, and you may not know that, but like when I'm talking with other people that produce shows and do stuff, it's like, oh yeah, we gotta get Mike Lester, and it's like, yeah.
I love doing it, man. And I think that's the big thing why, you and I are still doing it. You gotta, anything you do, right? You have to love it unconditionally, and it's not about anything else. It's just the joy of doing it. And if you can help people out in the meantime, or my dad always equated it to, he was like, stand-up comedy, son, is like bag balm. You know what bag balm is, John?
I've heard of it.
It's what they fucking rub on turkeys at farms to keep them from devouring each other. And he's like, that's what you do, Mike. You rub spiritual bag balm on that audience to keep them from fucking murdering each other via
text. My God. This is Cindy Strickland, Mike. She's watching us from Alabama. Good to see you. There's my mother. She wanted to hear about that turkey balm.
Oh, nice. Oh, she's like, thumbs up to turkey balm. Yeah, my dad's references are wild. They usually equate to animals murdering each other. So.
Well, I got to say this. Your dad was, I mean, really think about this, because I know my dad wouldn't have done this. And God, I mean, I know my mom's watching, but my dad would not have taken me around when I was in high school to open mics.
Yeah, my dad was instrumental, like, and not a lot of people know this. Like, a year prior, my dad and I hadn't really been talking. Like, we had fallen out of our relationship, and then just hearing that I wanted to try stand up and knowing I needed someone, I reached out, and it really, like, stand up essentially healed my father and I's relationship.
That's awesome. I mean, it really is. So, well, first of all, and I sort of do this in a half-assed way. I kind of have a form, but I'm interested. So, you, and you and I haven't talked in a long time, but you were living. But you were, shut up. I mean, let's I'm going to be honest. This is an honest show.
I know. Isn't it crazy? We were talking about this before we went live. Like, we haven't really had a conversation like this in years.
No, I mean, literally. I mean, God, I don't even know how long it's been, but I'm just so happy that you're here.
Me too, man. No, there was no animosity. It's just like life happens.
Well, that's it. That's what happens. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about being a comedian and doing comedy. If the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize, when you're doing open mics and stuff, all right, you get to be pals with people, and some people you hang around with, and some people you go and work on the road with. And part of that working on the road with people is because you either get along with them for 6 hours in a car, or you don't.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, that if somebody that is funny, and all of a sudden you don't see him, but you still they're doing okay.
Yes.
And that's the thing. It's like, I'm like, man, I know Mike Lester is kicking ass. I miss seeing him. It was the same thing with Corey Adam. I haven't seen Corey Adam physically before something we did a couple of weeks ago. I hadn't seen him physically for like 3 years.
Yeah, and who wants to see Corey Adam physically?
Nobody.
Well, that's
I mean, maybe that's a poor example.
That's a horrific sight. It's like, hey, I'm going out of my way to see a fatal car accident.
Oh my gosh. So first of all, I want to know, because this virus that shut down everything's kind of really affected you quite a bit, right? Because you were living out in the Northeast.
Yeah, I was living in Vermont. I got this job with this startup doing copywriting and narrative stuff for their social media. And yeah, we got shut down, and I made the decision to come back to my house in Minneapolis, and that's where I'm at now. And I've actually I was afraid about working remotely essentially, but I've really taken to it. Like, I've actually found that I'm more productive working remotely, because working in an open office, there's this kind of hive mind going on that can be super distracting.
Yeah.
Especially when you got like your 20-year-old coworker trying to show you memes all the time. And it's like, dog, we got to work. Like, I don't care about, oh yeah, this guy's boots make him look like a cocaine dealer. It's like, I don't need to see that meme right now. I'm writing fucking copy for a toy.
Oh man, I love it. So, so you're back here in Minneapolis. Do you think there would be any difference in Vermont versus here in how they're dealing with stuff? Because Vermont's kind of a red state, blue. I don't know how that shit. I don't want to get political, but Vermont's a Democratic state. So is Minnesota.
Sure. I mean, Vermont is in an advantageous position because they have a low population. Mm-hmm. Like, they went for a week, I think, without any new cases, which led them to do a soft reopening rather than you look at other states that just reopened everything, in kind of a drastic way. But I mean, Vermont to me, it seems like they're going about it the right way just by slowly opening, even though they've had like super low cases. But it's who knows what it'll be like tomorrow. Time will tell. Like I say to everyone that I get in screaming matches with on social media, it's like, we don't dictate this isn't my quote either, but it's like, we don't dictate the timeline. Like, the virus dictates the timeline.
Absolutely. There's Dan Bublitz looking in. Thanks for looking in, Dan. Good to see you this afternoon. So let's kind of go way back.
Let's go.
What possessed you to think that it would be a good idea for you to do stand-up comedy?
The stand-up thing was pretty much the only thing I wanted to do. I knew. Thank you, Tom. It's good to see you too. That was the only option for me. I had grown up, and my kind of like mechanism to ingratiate myself in social circles was to make people laugh, and I grew up loving stand-up comedy, and I had to do it. And once I did it, I realized, like, this is what I love. This is something I'm truly passionate about. I faced the fear, and I questioned the fear, and I tried it, and I became addicted. I'm obsessed with comedy. I'm obsessed with writing. Like, writing is my passion. I never got into comedy or writing to make a living. I got into it because I love it, and it makes me happy.
Yeah. Hi, Donnie. Good to have you watching us, sir. Thank you very much for tuning in this afternoon. Mike, just so you know,
the last name.
Well, I could be fake. I don't know. I mean, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. You can look down there in the bottom. He's watching us on Twitch. By the way, when we stream this out, we stream it on Goonies' Facebook page. We stream it on my YouTube page. We stream it on Twitter, Periscope, and we also stream it on Twitch. So yeah, oh yeah, dude, I am worldwide.
What
I am doing it all. Anyway, so I can't recall, Mike, so forgive me. Did you win any of the multiple contests in Minneapolis?
I have never won anything. I won, I think it was like second funniest person in Coon Rapids.
And that's one of the prestigious ones.
It's one where you actually get a trophy. But yeah, I've never won anything. I never made my way into any club by winning anything. It was all just kind of showing up and writing and trying out new stuff and taking a lot of risks. And I think something that gave me an advantage early on was I am I tend to be like, and this is just, for after a decade, like I've been doing this 10 years,
Yeah.
like it's just I'm fearless on stage. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing that will slow me down to committing to giving that crowd the performance, that they paid for.
Mm-hmm. Well, condolences to your brother. There's Denny Ryan. Denny watches us almost every day too. Good afternoon, Denny. Denny's down in Des Moines, Iowa. Also, by the way, Mike, my locker mate in high school.
Wow, you had locker mates?
Well, yeah, we had to share. We were not in a rich school.
Oh,
you share the lockers, and most of the time, if there was any food, I ended up with it.
That's Little House on the Prairie shit right there. Sharing a locker.
Yeah.
Or you go out to till the soil.
So one of the things, and I never got to see any of this live, but one of the things I thought that was very fun and cool is you kind of had this cross between comedy and pro wrestling thing you did with Derek Hankels.
Oh my, yeah. I mean, it's just like doing something because you love to do it. And Derek Hankels and I miss him. He's out in LA right now. We really bonded over comedy and our love for professional wrestling. And for a while at Acme Comedy Company, we did a string of just like performances as the Kings of Minnesota, where we would battle for the WCW World Television title. And it got heated, man. Like there was a point where I choke slammed Derek Hankels onto a bag of paper crowns, which did not pad his landing at all. We had another performance that people talk about to this day, especially Acme staff, where Hankels and I had a chop off, and he literally like chopped one of my nipples like to the point where it was almost severed.
Oh my God.
And it just echoed throughout the whole building. But we had referees. There was a Christmas edition King of Minnesota where Derek Hankels came out dressed as Santa. He offered me a gift. I opened it up. He punched me. He shoot punched me. And he shoot punched me and chipped one of my back teeth.
Oh my God.
And then as he was giving out presents, I had a uniformed police officer come in with me and arrest him.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we went pretty far with it. And it's just, again, it's like that lifelong, fan in us.
Yeah, because you loved it. I'll have to, I do a wrestling show with another guy that's hooked in with WWE people. We'll have to have you come on that. That's on Tuesday nights at 8:00.
I'd love to.
I think it'd be fantastic.
I still watch everything too. Before this COVID thing, we were really seeing a boom, right?
Oh, yeah.
Wrestling, like a renaissance, like with NWA Power on YouTube and AEW wrestling, and just MLW do you watch any MLW? Maybe
I don't watch MLW because honestly, so basically to kind of fill you in, I was doing a training job. I was working with Rick Logan and Wendy Mayberry was a supervisor. She hired me, Rick Logan, Greg Coleman, Kristen Anderson, and 8 other people, and we were doing training at Duncan. So I was out traveling. I was like, holy crap, I want to watch all this stuff. I couldn't find the time to watch everything.
Yeah, it's hard, especially with all the product out there. It's like towards the end, before the 2020, chaos happened, like there was like 15 hours of just like live pro wrestling to watch every week.
Yeah. What's your favorite promotion out of all of them?
I really like, as far as empty arena, like what's going on right now, I feel like AEW is putting out some really dynamic episodes. I think they're doing the empty arena stuff the right way. They have 2 sides, they have a small crowd there. They're utilizing like backstage stuff, and just like what WWE did with WrestleMania is they kind of gave, the marquee matches a very cinematic feel.
Yeah.
Which I think, like, why can't we have that all the time? Like, sometimes it will be good, sometimes it'll be bad, but it's like, at least, in these times, like, you can't, the old template isn't doable anymore. So
right. Yeah. And I agree. I agree with you 100%. I honestly, my favorite out of everything that I watch up until Corona, I loved NWA Power. I love that
So good.
so much because that's the type of wrestling that I watched when I was a little kid.
Yeah, you watch studio wrestling. It's incredible. You have this built-in set of fans that are so interactive. You can definitely tell like they're just giving the guys and gals like, you know, room to create their characters and, you know, take these risks. And that's when the best like creative stuff comes through. It's not when it's like scripted down to the detail. You're just never going to strike gold. Like look at Aaron Stevens.
Oh yeah.
You know, like look what he did post WWE. He did the Damian Sandow run, but coming in and you could see it week to week developing that character as Shooter Stevens, like the third degree like national championship.
Karate.
Yeah, the question mark, dude. Like the most popular character on the show.
And he is so flippin' old school, man. It is just it's just beautiful. So one of the things that some people know, and this is one of the funniest things I think that I ever did with you was the creation of Shemko.
Oh yeah.
and a lot of people don't know this. And I found this stuff out because, you know, on the Urban Dictionary, you don't have to, you can just go in and make something up and put it up there.
Yeah.
So the term was shemping around or shemping, and plug your ears, Mom. The definition was a comical way of masturbating. And then we use it all. And then the reference was, it's a term used in comedy routines by Mike Lester and John Russell in the Minneapolis comedy scene. And we told everybody that we coined this phrase and we did it. And every time somebody said it, we got 3 cents royalty.
Yes.
Do you remember that? And Ken Reed bought into it lock, stock, and barrel, which I thought was hilarious.
I still get royalty checks in the mail from it. That's how I buy weed, is all my Shemko royalties, which is funny because we kind of reimagined that term, and I was probably at that time baked out of my gourd. Because, I mean, to me, the shemping thing was just like, it's one of the Three Stooges. I grew up watching the Three Stooges, and it's just something that we do a lot on our podcast, too. I Love You, Man, is just like, you introduce something, and then the way to kind of ingrain it into anyone's mind is it's just repetition.
Yeah. Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
We have a character on our show called Ricky Ramen, which conceptually is the dumbest fucking character I've ever thrown at the wall, but it's stuck because Ricky showed up every single week. He did the same shtick where he would eat dry ramen and pour the ramen salt into his mouth and mash it all up. And that's basically how you do it. That's his shtick. Mm-hmm. It's gotten to the point where fans loved it so much, we actually came out with Ricky Ramen tokens.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And he appeared at all of our live shows, but it's like, that's the best stuff, right? It's just like organically going with something, no matter how stupid it is, and just finding the joy in it.
Oh, my gosh.
So shemping, if there was no Shemko, there wouldn't be a Ricky Ramen.
I was there at the beginning.
Yep.
All right. So let's move on. You did some really here's a guy that doesn't know.
What's it? Aaron, you know what a token is. Hey Aaron, why don't you quit tokening your car on the job? Huh? Someone go to the Uptown Domino's right now and smell Aaron Isaac's car.
You know, it's funny, Mike, because I had Aaron on with me, and he says, "Oh yeah, I'm working it," because he was very honest with me, and he was there. I work at the Uptown Domino's, and I said, "Everybody order pizza from Uptown Domino's." He's like, "No, don't do that. I'll be too busy." I'm like, I'm trying to give you some business, man.
Aaron Isaacs is a great guy. He actually, when I came back from LA, I was pretty broke, and Aaron Isaacs helped me get a job at that Uptown Domino's.
Oh, no kidding.
And I worked there. I worked at that Uptown Domino's for 2 years, and it's that job like saved me so much like stress, and it just like allowed me to continue to pursue comedy and all these other things because they're flexible with the schedule. So it's like, shout out to Aaron Isaacs for looking out.
Yeah. And he is a totally solid dude. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Love that.
So look at him. Ooh. I think he says that as a ghost. Ooh. Anyway, yeah, he loves you. All right, so let's move on to a series of sketches you did with Robert Burrill, with your Lesterill, and those were all awesome.
Wow, man. Yeah, it's I don't really think about the past, but like looking back, like, yeah,
You did a ton of stuff, dude.
we really pestered people's timelines with all this shit.
Yeah, but you know what? It was good, and I just always tell people, when you do that stuff, I mean, it just gets you going, so you're able to be ready when that next opportunity knocks on the door.
And you're so right. Like Lesterill was one of those things. Like, again, we did it because we loved it. I gained so many lifelong friends out of that sketch troupe, like Khalid Hussein, Eric Kalash, Robbie Guerrero, so many, Alex Stein, like all these people out in LA. When we kind of pivoted towards making them in LA, it's like, wow, I'm so fortunate to gain all these lifelong friendships, along with a Lesterill sketch is what got me my break in commercial acting. Like it was these two directors, Adam and Ben Tott. They comprised the Salim Project. They're very successful directors in commercials and in film, and they discovered a Lesterill sketch, and they're like, that you were doing the character we were looking for. And that just, I never thought of myself, like commercial acting was never it was never something I thought about until they reached out, and it just opened up another whole new amazing world to me, where I got, again, it's like I do it because I love it, and it's like I have so much fun, and that's always kind of what I'm chasing, is I want to do stuff that's fun, and I want to make stuff with my friends, and Lesterill was incredible.
By the way, Ellie Blair, thanks for looking in, and she loved Lesterill, if you didn't see that.
Yeah, I mean, we still get messages about it.
Because they're all still available to go watch if you want to.
Huh?
They're all still available to watch if you want to go watch them.
Yeah, we still have the Facebook page. I think we have like close to, 75 sketches out. So
yeah,
go back, flag the problematic ones.
But the beautiful thing about it is they're not terribly long either.
No, they're very palatable. We always kept that in mind. There's a few longer ones, but it's because they needed to be longer, not because we wanted, we had to fit a certain template. It's just they came out to the time they came out to, and I think we told some really cool stories, and we and if it ever made anyone's day better, then it was worth it, because that's the whole point of art.
Absolutely. So then aside from and you're still, and by the way, during all of this, you're still out working shows, doing shows all over the country.
Yep.
And then you get, as we talked about, then you fall into the commercial acting.
Yeah, and that was crazy. That was 2016 and 2017. I actually got the poster behind me right now for the Beware of Robots campaign. Mm-hmm. I was, lucky enough to be able to star in it and create this, well, not create, but help create this amazing character, Bryn Bottenfeld, and he was the ad tech guy for Shinobi, and I got to go to Ad Week in New York and dress as a robot and interview Morgan Spurlock from Super Size Me. I got to do these incredible commercial campaigns where I basically had, I had so much creative freedom in doing what I did in those commercials, because they just, they had faith in me as an improviser. And Adam and Ben Tote, man, like they gave me that shot, and I'm forever grateful. And they actually got me the job I'm doing today. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait for what the future holds for me and them, because those are two guys that, that I'm a ride or die for them, because you could not, in this business especially, like you could not meet two better dudes like It's incredible, but the Brobot is still my favorite commercial I've ever done because I got to be an asshole in a robot costume, and I mean, what's better than that? Like,
I mean, and it really fits your personality too.
Yeah, or at least like that guy's right, like that persona, because it's all pro. It all goes back to pro wrestling for me. I love playing the heel. I love playing the villain. I don't mind when a crowd hates me or I get antagonistic. But yeah, it's just I get to put a helmet on. You do not know who I am, and I can literally just say whatever I want. I can talk shit to Morgan Spurlock about his documentary series. Like it's just it wasn't even a job. Like it was just like a dream, creative experience.
Yeah. So tell me, you must have been a big fan of Andy Kaufman.
Oh yeah. I mean, I still like, yeah. I mean, he was very instrumental in just like how I kind of blended art forms and how my persona, I could bring it off stage early on, and then I realized like maybe being a dick at meet and greets isn't like building a fan base, and also just being a kid. I feel like that's a big thing. But yeah, Andy Kaufman was incredible. One of the best.
I just
often never duplicated.
No, good Lord, no.
Yeah.
There's just no way. He was always one of my fun guys, and in fact, my mom, who's still watching, I think I watched with my mother the very first time he was on Saturday Night Live doing the Mickey Mouse or Mighty Mouse, and it's the beautiful thing about it was I was probably 17, 18 at the time, and my mom was whatever age she was. I don't want to embarrass her, but we both laughed at it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about Andy Kaufman. It was like you either got him or you didn't.
Yeah.
But once you got him, anything he did was hilarious because he was screwing with people, and that's the thing I love the most.
It's my favorite kind of comedy too, right? Where you can just like reach multiple demos and generations, like a whole, 3 different generations of a family can laugh together.
Yeah.
And it's like, like comedy never gets any better than that, where you can like share an experience and there's like not a member that's uncomfortable with it. It's just like universally beloved.
Yeah. And of course the wrestling stuff that he did is some of my favorite stuff.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, have you ever thought about trying to be the intergender champ? Because I think that title's open.
I'm open to it. If we get back to a point where we can be in the ring, like, sure, I'll get the shit kicked out of me. Like, I'm willing to do it. I'll go on the state fair circuit.
Start at the bottom, baby.
Yeah. Go to the MN State Fair. Me and Garrison Keeler can have a Taipei death match.
That's just funny in and of itself. Just hearing it's funny.
Just tape our fists and dip them in glass and just wail on each other.
All right, man. So one of the things I like to ask people, because you've been doing this now for a while.
Yeah.
And you've been traveling and you've been working constantly.
Yes.
Tell me about, if you can narrow it down to 1 or 2, tell me about the worst hell gig you ever had.
Wow. That's there are two answers to this. So, and they were on the same run. I did a Tribble Run with John Conroy.
Oh yeah. The birthday buddies.
Yes. We took the birthday buddies tour on the road, and man, what a test for a friendship. 4 weeks of just driving from hell gig to hell gig. But both of them were in Montana, my 2 worst gigs. One of them was in a hotel lobby where I opened. I had taken an edible earlier that day, and that definitely played into it. But it was just like, the host didn't show up, so I had to open the show, and I literally just bombed for 40 minutes, and then my last joke crushed. And I remember just like sitting there and thinking, this could not get any worse. Cut to like 2 nights from then, I'm doing this gig in Glendive, Montana, and it was a really good gig. Like the crowd was into it, people were loving it, and then I while riffing called it's just because that's the way it was. It was at this place called the Mad Hatters, and they had a world famous smoked steak that tasted exactly like an Oscar Mayer hot dog. And I said that on stage, got a great reaction. Out of the midst, the manager comes up and screams at me and ends the gig. Pulls me off the stage, cuts my pay by $20, and then threatens my life to the point where we were so scared that we drove through the night away from the gig.
Oh shit.
And we had to drive through Yellowstone. And we're driving through Yellowstone National Park, and it's like 1 a.m.
Oh man.
And John Conroy's partner at the time is driving, and I'm like nodding off, and I'm like, I think that's a bison up ahead. And not only was it one bison, there were 7 bison in the road. And
oh my God.
We almost drove through a bison. Well, John Conroy's partner was like muttering on like, okay to drive. And I'm like, you're so tired, you sound drunk. Like, you're not okay to drive. We almost just like, it's like a felony to drive through a bison, I'm pretty sure.
I think it is.
Endangered, you know?
It's like making eagle soup.
Yeah. Or bat soup.
But bat soup, well, bat on a stick is okay.
Yeah.
So, and Tribble Runs, was that obviously was the last Tribble Run you ever did?
Oh, the one and only. Horrible. Like, Robert Burrill still wants to do a docu-series on it, and I'm like, yeah, go. I'm not going. I'm not doing it. I still have like scars on my butt from sitting in that car. You know what I mean? Dude, like, your ass is never the same after a Tribble Run.
I did one with Randy and Carlo, and it's the worst. You think, because in part of the reason it's the worst is not it. I mean, the gigs are okay, but the distance you got to go between them is just
horrible.
Insane. It's insane.
Yeah. We're performing at a bowling alley for a bunch of gun-toting lunatics. Drive 10 hours to do a fucking hotel lobby. And it's like, what? Who pieced this run together? It's like, how do people survive this?
After that bowling alley show, we thought we did fine. Apparently the manager complained to Mr. Tribble. And then we got a call about 1 o'clock in the afternoon as we're driving 11 hours to the next gig.
Yeah.
And he says to me, Randy's got to step it up. And he was mad at Randy. And we get there. And of course, then I'm like, Randy's like, what'd he say? And I'm like, he's not happy.
Dude.
And so then we pull in, and I don't know if you did the card room in, like, I think it's Port Washington or something.
Oh God.
Something, Washington. And the hotel it's like there are more people staying there by the month than by the night.
Yes.
And Randy's like, I just want to go home. And I'm like, you can't go home. You can't go home. We get more left.
Yeah, it's like, hey, buddy, you literally can't go home. It's not like you can snap your fingers, wake up in your bed. Like, I would say 95% of that Tribble Run was absolutely awful. And as someone that's been on the other side of Dave Tribble screaming at you on, like, after that Glendive gig, you don't think Tribble got a call? It's like, hey, the opener called my steak a hot dog. You got to do something. Like, he almost canceled the tour. He's like, never have I been disrespected. I'm like, think of what you're mad about. You know, like, question these feelings right now. I called the steak a hot dog, okay? And you're gonna cancel the tour? Like, you're gonna cancel this tour because I riffed one line that this crackhead manager in his early 20s wasn't okay with? Like, you're out of your mind.
So I gotta ask you. So when he called you, to talk to you about this, did he start off like, "Hey, Mike, it's a really great day for a drive, isn't it?"
No, he was just screaming. He's like,
I've
never gotten a call like this, and I'm like, of course, no one has. No one has ever been so hypersensitive about such meaningless shit that they have to call the bookie and go, he got my stick. You really think that lost you sales, Mad Hatters? You really think me on stage fighting for my life lost you sales? The crowd loved it too. It'd be one thing if like a hush fell over the crowd and started booing. No, I got an applause break because everyone's like, yeah, we eat hot dogs out here. Everything tastes like hot dogs.
I just love it so much because these are the kind of stories that just absolutely are. I mean, you have downtimes in comedy where it's like, oh man, that didn't go good, but these kind of stories are just the absolute best.
They last with you forever. I will be hearing Dave Tribble screaming at me on my deathbed.
I got to tell you, because Randy and I, we caught back up. We did the show in Idaho Falls, which I'm sure was on your tour.
That was actually a good show. That was the show before the two really bad shows, because I got to open, and then of course like Conroy ate shit because like we're just in a sunken. We're performing for a bar.
Yeah.
Like there's no seating. It's just like you're at the Pepper Tree Inn or something and you're performing for a bar. Yes, Karen, they do forget. They forget what comedy. They don't know what it is. But it like, yeah, we ended up getting edibles off that show and hanging out with some really cool people afterwards.
The interesting part about that Pepper Tree show was it cost like $7 to see comedy and $12 to come to the DJ afterwards. So like at the end, like at the last 15 minutes of my set, as closing it out, right? All of a sudden the room is full of people that don't give a shit that I'm there.
It's weird. It's weird how like booking live entertainment is so different. And I remember that live DJ show, no one was dancing.
Oh yeah.
Like no one was dancing there. It was just like a high school prom where everyone's like standing off to the side.
Yeah.
Like it's like, why would you pay $12 just to stand here?
We had, and one of the most interesting experiences, because as you know, doing that, you don't always get an MC. So we get to the Pepper Tree and a woman comes up and says, "Are you guys a comedians?" And we're like, "Yeah, well, I'm Becky. I'm your MC." I'm like, "Awesome. Oh, how nice it's going to be to have an MC." And then she starts saying, "Well, I haven't done this very long, but if you like what I do, please, would you talk to Mr. Tribble for me? Because I'd like to do this professionally."
Oh, no, you don't.
And then she got up and did the first joke was about, and again, Mom, plug your ears because it's horrible. Her first joke was, "Ladies, have you ever had one of those days when the dog eats your tampons out of the garbage?"
Oh.
And she had like 12 people sitting right in the front to watch her. None of them laughed. And the funny part was, as Randy and I were leaving, she's talking to her friends, and I hear her say, "You people didn't even laugh at me once." And I'm just imagining to myself, if I'm her friend, I'm like, we didn't know where to laugh.
There's no punchline. We thought you're just telling us about your disgusting day. And your gross pets that have a blood.
Yeah. And she just kept going on and on and on. Hi, Carol. Carol watches us every day too, Mike. She's in Kenosha, Wisconsin. We'll have you MC sometime. Next time I get over towards that way, we'll have you get up and you can be the host.
The Shemko tour will ride again, and our
you know how much fun that would be to do that. Oh my God!
You reminded me of another gig, and it tops the other two.
Oh my God! Let's hear it.
It tops the other two, and this is like my first year into comedy. My dad organized a gig for us, and I went with Robert Burrill.
Mm-hmm.
I went with Josh Florhog, and I went with Joey Vincent, and we went up to what we thought was a St. Cloud VA hospital to perform comedy for veterans. And we get to the St. Cloud VA, and we're walking in. My dad's like leading us through like locked door after locked door, and we're looking and we're like, not a lot of hospitals have bars on the windows, like it's weird how this entire hospital is kind of on lockdown. And he takes us to the back lawn, and he's like, the peacock's back here. We go out and hang out with the peacock every day to calm down. And I start putting the pieces together. I'm like, holy shit, we're in a fucking mental hospital. It's too late at that point.
Yeah.
It's too late. Like, the gig is going to happen. Our opener for the gig was a very emotionally charged AA meeting. That was the thing that happened in the gymnasium before us, was just a guy bearing his soul, just blubbering into his hands about how he'll never see his kids again because of the decisions he made. And it's like, all right, it's comedy time. And when I say we ate shit, not only did we all eat shit, my dad emceed the show. My dad went up in a dusty stained jacket that I had found for him in a basement. In his opening bit, John, hand to God, people, there were witnesses. His opening bit was live from the St. Cloud VA Mental Hospital. It's Thursday night. And my dad proceeds to he attempts to do a pratfall onto a stool. The stool buckles and he hits his fucking head on the floor. Like, he hits his head so hard, and he gets backstage after bringing up Joey Vincent, and there's liquid coming out of his ears, and I'm like, you are full on concussed. And he's like, I can finish this show, son. I can finish this show. And that was,
my God.
That was the gig where I was like, I never want to do anything else, because where else are you going to get the experience of your dad doing the Saturday Night Live opening and concussing himself in front of 200 like emotionally disturbed veterans?
Oh my God. Carol wants to know if we performed in front of prisoners. Well, you kind of did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of those guys weren't there under their own will.
I never have. And I know they do prison shows from time to time. I've never done one, and never really kind of
that VA gig was my Johnny Cash moment, was watching my dad concuss himself, and then basically I just did crowd work the whole time.
Oh my God.
And it went fine.
Yeah.
But the gig ended, and they're like, make your way to the back for some orange drink and popcorn. And it's just like, man, this is...
I'm sure Bobby Burrill did fine. I'm curious, how did Joey do?
Oh, I mean, Burrill bombed.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, Burrill, well, there's no way to succeed in these gigs because you don't know what you're dealing with. Like, right. Burrill did a joke about pot, and he called it, like, That 1770 Show. And the guy, one of the head nurses ran around. He's like, I should stop this show right now. You can't talk about drugs at a mental hospital. And it's like, we didn't know we were doing a mental hospital gig, dude. We're not making any money. We're getting paid an orange drink and stale popcorn.
Oh my God.
We are fighting for our lives. And Joey Vincent, of course, goes up and he closes with performing for the Taliban, which is met with audible boos. Like, people are now just audibly booing Joey Vincent.
Oh my God.
Because he had the great idea of, talking up the Taliban at a VA mental hospital. But
oh my God.
I mean, I'm so glad you sparked that memory, because it's just one of my favorites. And then just thinking of the fallout my dad probably had to go through after.
Oh yeah.
Like, I imagine he was like, his blankets were held down and he was beaten with like stacks of frozen oranges or something.
Oh my God. So
yeah.
those are the rough ones. All right.
Oh,
so
yeah.
now you've really become a well-established comedian and pretty well known nationwide inside the comedy industry.
Yeah.
Is there so the other part that I like to find out is, what is the biggest thrill, whether it be opening for somebody that you looked up to, whether it be performing in a huge crowd, the biggest thrill on a comedy that made you feel like, oh my God, this is it. I just love it so much.
It's not even about because the last 2 years I've really hit it and regularly headline the Cellar Comedy Club in Fargo. Getting to headline there this past fall was a dream come true.
Yeah.
just like performing for a live room of people that knew me, that saw me the year before and wanted to come back, you know, meeting those fans. But mainly, man, it's about like getting to, like, as a kid, like watching Mary Mack on Last Comic Standing and then like becoming a friend of hers. Like, and like I consider Mary Mack and Tim Harmston mentors, like family. Yeah. Like when I was out in LA, no one helped me more than them, as far as like whether it be a place to stay or just hanging out or just, you know, being able to talk someone you know is listening to you, like meeting these idols of yours and becoming friends with them and just like building these lifelong friendships. Like that's what it's all been about for me.
Yeah.
And then just getting to perform and you know, like, you know, having people come up to you and talk about your jokes and tell you just like how meaningful it is that you even were there to perform for them. It's like, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Denny wants to know if we're going to do a show in Des Moines.
Shemko tour coming through.
Denny, if you can find us a spot to do a show, we'll come down and do it.
Yeah. If you got right now, if you got like a backyard gig we could do, that's probably the best we could do right now.
Because down in Des Moines, you guys are opening up. We can do it. We can do a show down there as long as it's socially distanced. And I'll be honest with you, I've done a show from a porch. Yeah, I've done 2 shows from a porch. They work out really good right now because people are missing that.
Yeah, I've done some crazy gigs. Like me and Burrill did this gig around Christmas for the people that own Minnesota's largest candy store.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. We did a gig for them at their estate, and it was just like insane, just performing in this huge house that they had built themselves.
Yeah.
It's just like bizarre the kind of gigs you can get into, or just like the kind of settings you can do comedy in to where it's like successful.
Dan Bublis will book you in his basement.
Yeah, that sounds scary. So I'm going to have to pass on that right now. Anyone that's trying to pivot, like, oh, just come perform in I got a basement.
Yeah. Faribault, you're talking about the theater in Faribault. Did you do that theater in Faribault?
I can't remember.
Because I there was one show and they have had different people booking it from time to time, and I think it's Nathan Smezrud that's involved in booking it now. But I remember one that Gabe and Conroy and I think Wendy and Chell and El Arnson were all on, and it was like, oh yeah, this is going to be family friendly, and I was like, no, it's not. You know,
not with that lineup.
Oh my God, it was amazing. What locks from both? Oh, the state of Iowa locks from both sides. That means people from Missouri can't get in. But yeah, I recall that show. That it's a nice theater, and the people that go there they like comedy. But I don't know what the situation is now.
Yeah.
But there's I think when everything kind of gets back to normal, I think it's still going to be hard at live venues. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, there are some venues opening up and they're under these guidelines that it's like 25% capacity, but it's just like, you know, I get it. It's frustrating. Like the future, you know, it's like not knowing what the future holds, especially as an artist, you know, like comedy was doing very well. And then in a matter of a day, it's all gone.
Yeah. Do you remember the last gig you did before everything shut down?
I did a showcase at the Vermont Comedy Club, and they got a great club in Burlington, Vermont. Love that club. Support them. They're still doing virtual shows all the time. Those owners are so sweet. But yeah, I mean, Vermont, it's got one club. They've built like such a great scene. Their Wednesday mic is packed, like with like over 100 people.
Wow.
But yeah, I got to close this showcase, and nothing makes me more happy than like kind of just getting to show what I got in front of new people.
Yeah.
And like kind of letting them discover like I guess you could call it like the Mike Lester magic or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm not like a lot of other comics.
Oh, definitely.
You know, it's just kind of, it's not very polished. Like I don't ever really do the same bit twice. like identical, like it's not like written down, but it's like it's there, and it's, you know, just it was a great show, and I miss stand up a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Miss it a lot.
One of my favorite things that you do is or I don't know if you still do it or not, because we haven't seen each other so long, but is the letter from the neighbor.
Yeah, Thea. Oh man, rest in peace, Thea.
So funny.
Yeah,
so funny. You guys, seriously, you gotta find Mike's stuff. And I'm right down on our scroll down there is where, if you want to support Mike and his crew from I Love Mana.
Yeah, I can give the spiel. I Love You Mana is a Magic the Gathering podcast that I've done for close to 2 years now with fellow comedians Zach Kagan and Tor Eugen. We love doing it. Again, we do it because we love to do it. And tomorrow on our Discord, we're actually doing a charity raffle. We're raffling off a couple of the new Magic the Gathering pre-release kits. So if you join the I Love You Mana Discord and you give us 5 stars on iTunes, you get an entry into the raffle. But if you don't care about Magic and you just want to have a good time hanging out with people, just join our Discord and hang out. It's a great Discord. We have 91 episodes of our podcast available on most streaming platforms, where you can just basically, you're just, you're hanging out with us. Like, that's kind of the feel we get. We won Best Comedy Podcast 2009. Yep, Ricky Ramen, Jack. That's right. If you want to see the evolution of Ricky Ramen, that's so funny that's the big thing that's stuck from a Magic the Gathering podcast is Ricky Ramen.
But that has to do with the fact that you're with 2 other comedians. You guys love what you're doing.
We love what we're doing. If you want to listen to 3 guys love what they're doing and get mad at each other sometimes, this is the show for you. So I Love You Mana. Check it out. It's everywhere.
And you guys have a site on Teespring.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to buy some other merch from Mike, what shirt did you? I mean, you've run through a whole bunch of different merch items.
Yeah. I mean, our merch on Teespring, we're very proud of it. Our good friend, his social media handle is @TheBellyOfSteel. He's out of Oakland, California. He was an early super fan of the show. He's become a dear personal friend of all of ours. He's our graphic designer. He does amazing work. Half of the proceeds from the Teespring go to him, because you know how hard it is to be an independent contractor right now. So half of it goes to him. The other half of the proceeds go to getusppe.org to just provide protective equipment for people that are out on the front lines, the nurses, the doctors, the sanitation workers at hospitals. Like, they need that. They need donations now more than ever. So that's kind of where we're pointing all our efforts towards, is to just get PPE for the people that really need it right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Carol's got to go out to the mailbox, I think. Thank you for looking in, Carol. We appreciate it very, very much. And we'll look forward. Honestly, Carol, if you've got a spot or you want to talk to the folks over there in Kenosha, Mike and I would love to come and do a show over there too when everything opens back up. So I know you know some folks over there. If you want to put a word in for us, we'd love to come and do it. And again, thanks for looking and watching. Gosh, so we got about 7 minutes left. Yeah, it's all about the fans, man. You please the fans, and then you get the work.
Absolutely, it's not about if you go out if you're looking for some sort of monetary compensation, or if you're looking for some sort of like fame, you're not doing it for the right reasons.
Right, you got to do it because it's fun.
You got to do it because you love it, and no matter what, if you're happy, you've succeeded. Like, if you are happy, you have loved the. Thank you so much, Karen. That's kind of my goal with any project I do, is like, is it making me happy? Then it's worth it.
So talking about projects, when this is all over said and done, did you have anything in the hopper that like you were going to be doing that got canceled?
We had more I Love You Mana live shows. We really enjoy the live show format. The last one we did was in January at the Iron Door Pub in Minneapolis. Okay. And that's just so fun. Like, being able to do our podcast while at the same time having a whole audience to interact with and to play off of, I would love to do more of that. And then I had some stuff going on in Vermont, just like some odd shows. But for now, it's just taking it day to day and doing what I can and focusing on what I can control personally rather than head to the Capitol with a machine gun.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Now you went and did it. It's funny because I just, so those of you that are watching, I try to not make this political, and Mike and I talked about it ahead of time, and we had like a 10-minute conversation about other stuff, and it's like, it's so funny. It's so funny. I was also going to ask, and I haven't asked anybody else this, but I'm like, if you were a betting man, which state do you think the Civil War would start in?
Ooh, I mean, the way it's looking, I think fireworks could definitely happen in Florida. I feel like that state's just constantly in a civil war, or Georgia.
See, so I'm thinking. Here's what I'm thinking, and honestly, after and this is not political. It's just situational. After the Supreme Court threw away the stay-home order in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's going to be so weird, and it's right next door. I also think Michigan has a real possibility to be to have that kind of stuff happen.
Oh, yeah. Michigan is looking gnarly right now. I mean, at least with Wisconsin, I hope it's like somewhat comedic to where we just look up at the sky and like blocks of cheese are being hurled towards us, and our state officials in Minnesota will be abducted and waterboarded with like fondue cheese. Like, I mean, if that's the only comedic spin I can really put on it, but it's also like this could happen. Like Wisconsin has the most serial killers out of any state, so it's like it could happen.
And now they get to drink. Oh, Ida, we're just kidding, and I mean seriously.
Ida, I'm joking, Ida. Shout out to Aaron Isaac's mom. Ida, thanks for tuning in.
Yes,
we're joking. No one's going to get waterboarded with melted cheese. Relax.
I mean, technically, it'd have to be really, really runny cheese for it to even work.
And it would be delicious.
It would be. I'd die happy.
It would be. It would be delish.
I'd love it. Mikey, we're coming up on an hour. I can't believe it's already an hour gone by.
Oh, what a great time.
I mean, I appreciate you taking the time to do this, Lee, so much. And I will look forward to awesome Kenosha Comedy Sports. Will let us know when that's awesome. We'll do that room.
Yeah, that sounds like if you know Mike Lester, I'm all about sports. So
Mike's a dribbler from way back.
I dribble all over the place.
Anyway, my friend, holy cow. Thank you, Karen. Karen, you're such a supportive person, and we appreciate you looking into.
Thanks, Karen. Love you, Karen. Miss you. Hope you.
By the way, check out Day Drinking with Mom. Karen and Wendy Mayberry are putting on another virtual show on May 27th, which is a Wednesday. And they just released the fellow that's going to headline it. I don't remember his name. Carol, I've been to Kenosha in that area up along the lake a lot of different times, a lot of different places. Kenosha, I think it was at the Elks Lodge. I was at the comedy club at the hotel. I've been all over up and down there. Yeah, Karen, she misses you too. And then we get thumbs up and clapping. Thank you.
Excellent.
Appreciate it. I like to put everything up if I can, because, but if it's not relevant, I ain't putting it up there.
Yeah.
See, this one I'll put up. Mike rules. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Marge, you're awesome. By the way, Large Marge, if you want to find out about Large Marge, there it is. Karen threw it up there. Devin Siebold. Is that how you say it? I hope. I don't know. I don't have to say anything. But he's very funny. He does a teacher thing, teacher business.
I think more people need to practice that. Say nothing.
You know, you can never get into really any trouble if you don't say anything.
If you don't say anything, I mean, who's gonna attack you for not saying anything?
Nope.
I don't know.
Nobody. Anyway, my friend, hit your social media and stuff again. I'll pop that up here quick.
It's at JUST Mike Lester, at just Mike Lester across the board. Go look for I Love You Manna on all podcast platforms. That's my baby. Join our Discord. Hang out in the I Love You Manna Discord tomorrow night. You know, we're all in this together. No one's alone. So
absolutely. And one of the things I like to do at the end is I always like to encourage people, if you're looking at Facebook or wherever it might be and you see something come across your feed and it's somebody that's streaming something live, you know, people that are creatives, it's like we need this connection with people. And so if you see something, stop, give it a like, and watch it for a little. You don't have to watch the whole thing. I mean, but if you're interested in it, watch the whole thing, of course. But it's really good to make people feel like what they're doing matters and make them feel valuable, because I mean, honestly, during this shutdown and we're all stuck at home, it's really, really hard. And I think I mean, you know, it doesn't take you anything to click that like button and watch for a little bit and then move on if you're not 100% interested. But at least it lets them know what they're doing is value, because it is art. So
1,000%.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Tomorrow, Mike, you're going to love this. You're going to have to watch tomorrow, because guess who's on? Guess who's on?
Who?
Rox Tarrant.
Whoa, the matriarch.
I'm telling you what, Rox has as many stories as I do pair of socks, I'm sure, and probably more. But Rox started in comedy back with the top guys, and I always talk about Rox. She produced so many shows. I remember one New Year's Eve, and I know you were working for her too. She had 9 different shows in 9 different venues around Minnesota. And I just always think to myself, holy cow, this woman employed at least 27 comics tonight.
And she always paid great.
Yes.
And she was a huge proponent in giving people chances.
Absolutely.
Seeing where they went with them. And you can never have too many of those people in comedy or in any sort of art form.
Absolutely. So anyway, tomorrow at 1:00, we'll have Rox Tarrant. She sent me a bunch of pictures, and I've looked through them, and you're going to see some really cool pictures of her with some legendary comics. Nice. So that'll be a lot of fun. That's at 1:00 tomorrow. Mike Lester, thank you again, my friend. I appreciate it so much. And all of you that watched, again, I appreciate it more than you know, because honestly, you have zero reason to watch this, and I just appreciate that you do, and you've stuck with me for this long. It's very much appreciated. All right, everybody. See you tomorrow at 1. Bye-bye.